But we're not Poland,
Oh, no.
and I don't want to bring people down, but I got to share the things that bring me down. It's just such a fucking bummer. This mayor in Poland is like doing a charity event, and a dude jumped up on stage and stabbed him to death on the stage. And why am I bringing this up? It's
a comedy show.
There, but for the grace of God, I don't know. We saw there were swastikas burning in the street in Poland like a year ago. Look, we're in a worldwide right slide. America no longer has all three branches of government on the right. How long that will last, I don't know. But all of this rhetoric, all of this shit, I believe truly that whereas traditionally, heretofore, fascism's potting soil has been multicultural shifts and economic like roller coasters. That's when people get their cravings for authoritarianism start to get tempted, and I think that plus Facebook is going to destroy the planet because we were really not in economic bad shape. But the arrival of the internet, or rather the arrival of dumb people to the internet, they kind of like, they'd never seen the world before. And the first thing they see is, oh my God, there's so much more brown skin or so much more like uppity vagina or so much more than they were used to because their world is going from everything they can see. And trust me, as a guy who's left Twitter, now I've become much more provincial and simplified. Like it really happens pretty quickly. Like I don't know nothing about nothing, and I'm really happy about it. And then so assuming it works in reverse as well is when our parents got on the internet, my parents, Trump's generation, love you mom, love you dad, but Jesus Christ, the baby boomer plus the internet is like. It's like they reacted to it as if it was our fault that they were racist. Like, they were kind of like, what are all these black people doing on my phone? And I think that happened all over the world.
I can't call the police on my phone.
You can't. If you know in high school history class, you can trace like our sort of like the global rises of militarism, nationalism, isolationism, economic depression, and things that lead to both of the great world wars. And we didn't have that, and yet we're repeating that blueprint without the parts that actually caused it. Like we skip. It's like we invented a weird invisible plexiglass ramp to anti-Semitism and scapegoating immigrants and all these things that traditionally happen because your country has gotten to a point where it's using your currency as a doorstop or toilet paper and is using like bottle caps for money. And it like we never got there. There was a housing crisis and a global economic crisis and all this stuff, but we didn't. We had
YouTube autoplay.
It's the internet's fault. God darn it! That's my point.
No, it's the algorithms they like. They want clicks, and clicks. Nazis click, unfortunately, and so it's like, it sells. So making people Nazis on accident.
Political rhetoric. So this Polish mayor, 53 years old, a mayor like myself. He was a liberal. He was outspoken. He loved his gay rights. He was Polish. It's not a great time to be liberal.
I think Jeff's going to stab you, Dan.
That's not funny. That really happened. He was doing this charity event.
I'll stick you, man. I'll fucking make you leak.
A crazy guy that, of course, they're calling a lone wolf, and he's crazy. He's crazy. Yes, I agree.
Cut you, Jack.
What are you saying?
I'm gonna cut you.
This isn't the funny portion of the show. I'm doing my Springer's first thoughts.
First thoughts. Springer's opening arguments.
I have no solutions and I have no appeal. I would die for my freedom of speech. I would die for other people's freedom of expression. I do not believe that laws need to be created to mitigate the way people speak. I believe that free speech, have we noticed, has consequences anyway. Let's talk about that weatherman that got fired for accidentally making the sound coon while he was saying Martin Luther King's name. Let's just talk about that in a second. Like, I mean, we love firing people. Like but unless you're a Nazi, we're in trouble if we continue to ostracize each other and divide each other based on language we're basically handing the opposite of kryptonite to the more nihilistic, more sociopathic of two sides of a political spectrum. The party that this poor mayor was the most outspoken against, in his right-leaning Poland, they had issued death certificates for liberal politicians. He was very outspoken about that in particular. Can you imagine the irony? Can you imagine this guy's final thoughts as he's being stabbed in the fucking heart in front of his constituency, and all his cell phones are just out, and the pictures are so disturbing and confusing. The guy was the most outspoken about the rhetoric and how violent it was getting and how disgusting. These people who have nothing to lose and only the mentally ill to play with, and only they have nothing to lose and everything to gain from triggering a fucking psychopath. By the way, 1 in 100 people is so out of their gourd. God bless you. Probably a disproportionate number of them in my listenership. So
Sure.
what we love you, welcome. You if you're psychotic, you're not automatically a murderer, but
Right.
1 in 100 people is vulnerable to fucking messaging, and we just got this weird ability to all talk to each other all the time about whatever we want, and the politicians have arrived in that arena, and the thugs among them are going yeah, someone should kill that bitch. Well, if that bitch then gets killed, we're going to keep having this conversation. This isn't clearly about gun control. The guy crawled up on a stage with a knife. The government was trying to say it wasn't political. We didn't understand his motivation. He literally waved the knife around and said, I did this because this guy's political party locked me up. He was a mentally ill guy who had his mentally ill life that was in and out of prison and stuff. And he decided to blame this political party that was also being told to die by the opposition, who are issuing hilarious death certificates for liberal politicians. Our now deceased mayor of this Polish town was among the few who was going, guys, he went to his government and said, you should look at this as incitement of violence in a very dangerous time. And the government said to him, no, it's freedom of expression. It's a way of saying you disagree with someone politically to say they should die. And then he died. He was stabbed in front of everyone. So I am never going to let anybody tell me what to say. But what the fuck, man? We get fired for saying the wrong shit. And we're extending that to everyone but politicians. The only thing I wanted to say about that weatherman guy, by the way, was I'm sure you've read that story. If I've read it, you've read it. But there was this weatherman. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, when I
he was speeding through. I actually didn't watch the clip. I'm inclined to take his word for it because I don't believe.
Because you talk on microphones.
You don't. Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I just don't believe that the way you find out someone's racist is a sound coming out of their mouth. I really don't. I mean, that's different from saying a speech on the corner where you reveal I think that if your skin is this color, you're a worse person than this person. I just don't. I think it's a dangerous way of thinking, but also it's not like somebody led that pack. It's sort of this is what we make people vulnerable to. I put the blame on corporations. Media corporations need to stop firing people within 8 hours of Twitter trending them. It has to stop.
Right. That's what Gamergate did.
I'm sure it's regrettable within 16 hours. I almost got fired. I mean, if I had gotten fired, Rick and Morty would have been over. It was we went from 70 episodes to I had to spend 3 months wondering whether there was ever going to be a show again, because in 2009 I humped a doll in a video that somebody called a number at Turner because they associated it with a blog entry they saw about someone else anonymously, and I was being investigated for fucking child sex trafficking, because AT&T didn't want to take any chances. We have to. This isn't. I'm not personalizing this, or if I did, it would sound a lot like that. But I'm saying I'm having this experience and I'm not accidentally saying anything. I accidentally humped a doll in 2009. Probably not a great idea. Doesn't seem too funny these days. But the parallel universe that almost got created because I did that 10 years ago is pretty extreme stuff, and it's not the Nazis that Nazis have a right within our country to operate within the dark bowels for no money and try to make people mad and racist at each other. Like they're pretty underfunded and pretty hard to. They don't show up to a lot of meetings after a while. Like they left to their own devices, they are not the threat. I believe that when their antagonism it has its hand shaken by timid, cowardly, weird, reactive, scary insurance companies and corporations, that's when we're in trouble. Somebody's got to like realize that this new world means a new policy is necessary and that all of us, like Andy Warhol's wrong now. Like we're all not going to be famous for 15 minutes. We're all in constant rotation, going to get fucking crop dusted with viral parasites. Like we're all gonna every once in a while find ourselves in the midst of a crazy entropic weird social phenomenon, and corporations owe it to us to not base whether we show up to work the following morning on that. Well, the only thing I want to say about that is now assuming that forget it for a second whether or not that guy is more or less racist than any weatherman.
Wait, so I was out of town. Say again.
Okay, sorry. The guy was saying something, I don't know, he was doing his weather report, and he was trying to say Martin Luther King Jr., or there was an event that was going to be at Martin Luther King Jr. Park, and I think he said something like Martin Luther Coon King Jr. or something like that. He stumbled,
right.
And it sounded like the word coon in the midst of a civil rights leader that was, it's really not ideal. And it went and they didn't catch it or do anything about it at the time, and it went viral, and then he got fired. And last couple days I've been seeing within the news cycle, he's that lower left kind of story where he continued, Al Roker says he believes this guy or whatever. It's as ridiculous as it should be, the situation when we're talking about something so silly, and I the only thing that I wanted to say about it, because I'm sure everyone's capable of having their own conversation about it, I'm not going to add anything to it except this. Assuming he is no more or less racist than any other weatherman, assuming that you can tell whether he is or isn't by sound eruptions that come out of his mouth, I only ask this question. This is not a political or philosophical stance I'm taking. I just thought of this, and it was like, I think I might be right about this. I want to check. Isn't weatherman the only job you could do capably while racist? Like, if you gave me the ability to eliminate racism from any field, and it had like 10 charges in it, I would get to food service way before. I tried running on my list. I was like, carpentry. No, I don't want a racist making my chairs. I just feel like it's probably like the one thing you could do without hurting anybody and be totally racist.
But
hey, who is that guy with the swastika on his face in the cafeteria? He's not touching my food, is he? No, he's the weatherman. Okay. He can't control the weather, can he? No, that would be then, make sure, let's police that field for racism if you can make it rain on certain neighborhoods.
You're saying we're finding out that you're soft on racist weathermen.
I am either incredibly disrespectful towards meteorology, or I am biased about the idea that the first people that are getting fired happen to be the people who have to talk into microphones every day for. It's like, okay, come on, like. That is the.
It would be kind of fun, like if like Channel 5 and KTLA in Los Angeles had just racist weatherman, like, and he gave you the weather, and he was really good at it. But
just as an experiment, just to see if it hurts anybody. He also
just slipped in some just full on racism during it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. You could try different things each week. Here's our misogynist weatherman. Like, there's a cold front coming in. Not as cold as women can be toward me. I deserve sex, but lower SoCal deserves this cold front coming in, and we'll be back with sports with our Scientologists. Let's see what hurts.
Just for fun, and this is a comedy bit. Do racist weatherman.
I just did enough. Frenemy.
a weatherman who hates Turks.
Why? To what end?
For comedy. And for memes and for you to get fired.
My quote unquote joke was, isn't weatherman the one occupation that you could do while being racist? I did not get the laugh I expected. I was just working out new material. The laugh I thought I might get would be like a creeping one where everyone thought about it like I had and we're like, yeah, actually, if you ranked every job in the entire planet, like where, and you had to put your most racist person on your island community, if you had to put him in one place, weatherman seems like the safest place. And that's if the guy's racist.
But is he a great weatherman?
He's the best.
Oh, thank God.
I didn't watch the clip. I'm sure he's just a guy that I mean, well, now we know he's a guy whose life is probably ruined. I'm sure there's a lot of people listening for very good reasons who are going, boo-hoo, smallest violin playing for that guy when blah-blah-blah-blah-blah. So I'm not like, oh my God, the world's going to go to hell because you fired a fucking a white weatherman, and like I don't want to bat for that team. But I am once again, as I will continue to do, I am saying as a fellow leftist like barbarian, like, man, we got to get our tribes together, because the only people that don't follow this fucking weirdly stringent book of rules are the people they're the most hateful in their hearts of all hearts, the people who actually want to tear us asunder and trample us and remove us. They often know exactly which words not to say. Case not in point, our president, but it's like, look at the passes you get if you bat for the other team, and like, can we just, boy, why? Like, that's why I'm saying, like, corporations help us out, because people can't. If I retweet somebody saying something embarrassing on the news, it's not. We can't legislate that. It's not my fault that person gets fired. Like, I don't, even if I see it out of context and I'm like, hashtag fire that fucker, I should be able to do that. If you can buy a gun in our society and not be a part of the problem, then you should be able to lose yourself in a crazy viral uproar and adamantly say, fuck this racist fucker. He should be stripped of all of his rights and paraded into the ocean on Twitter as a private citizen, and then 6 hours later be like, Jesus Christ, he's a human being. What the fuck? I was drunk, and not find out that you were part of getting him fired. And the only way to change that is if the actual firing people, the dragons with the fucking fire breath, they've got to change. And I don't know what to do. Okay, our next segment is called, no, it's just racist weatherman. Okay, a few more thoughts about that.
Racist weatherman.
So God bless you, Polish mayor, Adamowicz. I can't remember. Pavel Adamowicz, I think that was his name.
I think there was a British MP named Joe Cox or someone who also got murdered in a similar situation where one of her political opponents was like, yeah, someone should kill this person, or she's so dangerous that someone should stop her or something, and then someone like shot her with an improvised gun or something, and she died. It was no good.
Bullies, man. It's the thing. It's like we gotta stand up against bullies. Like, if the person that you're challenging, hurting, whatever, like, just run it through the litmus test of, am I doing anything risky? Am I risking anything? And is this other person like so much more powerful than me that I can't hurt them by doing this? And like, run it through that test, like, because we need to all be united against the people that punch down. And that can actually hurt us, because it could get bad so fast. Like, these are our cousins abroad. These are the societies that are going through the same shit for whatever creepy reason. I blame Facebook. Everyone's like,
well, it is Facebook.
This is an issue, and everyone's in these right slants. So, like, God, please let us emerge as the weirdly ironic, like, sensible one in this thing, and lead everyone to back to regular ass gridlocked bureaucracy where I was so comfortable. I just want to die in peace. I don't want to die screaming in fear. I don't want to die by racist.
Yeah, man.
Actually, that's better than colon cancer, though, right? Like, I just, maybe if you could pick your age, you could go like, well, when was I going to die of colon cancer? 67. You get a bad colon. Okay, can you? I'll pay you $1 million to make me colon cancer free until 67, and I will agree to be killed by racist.
Well, I mean, yeah, that sounds great. Like,
that would
if
be a
it's
cool
that
society.
like, yeah.
Especially if you could be you could be like, okay, so now since I'm gonna get killed by racist, I'm gonna speak my mind at this rally, and like, okay, send them up. Oh.
And then like you set a price that you're willing to pay, and then other people can like try and outbid you for that death.
Right, because your death won't go viral after a while.
Right.
It'll be like the new colon cancer is being an upstanding person. We'll enter an arms race of being like profound people with integrity.